I'll tell you a story, a real true life story, a tale of the western frontier. The West, it was lawless, but one man was flawless, and his is the story you'll hear.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
When he came to Kansas to settle in Kansas, he planned on a peaceable life. Some goods and some chattel, a few head of cattle, a home and a sweet loving wife.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
This is the beginning of the story of Wyatt Earp, the greatest of the old fighting peace officers, a real Western hero. So great was his character and so complete his skill at living with danger that he became a legend in his own lifetime. In the hard world of the Western frontier, with all its bad men and outlaws, Wyatt Earp became the peacemaker. As a marshal, he went up against the worst of them, and the stories they tell about him are doubly fabulous because they're true. This is Ellsworth, Kansas, 1873. Don't let the peacefulness deceive you. It was about as ornery a little town as you'd find outside of Dodge City. It was run by the Thompsons, a notorious gang of frontier gamblers and killers. Most of the decent people had pulled stake, and the ones who remained were afraid. When Wyatt Earp first rode into Ellsworth, he was fresh from hunting buffalo on the Great Plains. He was just a peaceful young man looking for a place to wash up.
Not too much now. It's good, huh? You got enough?
Hanging on the air. No betting can dance. No betting can dance. And remember, stranger, anybody that deals a game in Ellsworth cuts with the Thompsons.
Oh, boy.
Why don't you do something, mister? You've got guns. Stop them. Do something.
Not my fight. But you're welcome to use my guns.
Don't say it. I know what you're thinking.
I'm gonna say it. What are you gonna do about this, Whitney?
Nothing. Real cowboys I can handle, but not this kind. I'm too old. That's why I sent for young Earp.
Young, you say?
Well, he ought to be 24, 25 by this time.
A real trigger-happy gunfighter, huh?
No, he's not a gunfighter. I've known him most of his life, and I've known his folks, too. I'm not even sure he'll take the job. But if he would, it'll make this a better town to live in.
What makes you sure he can handle this crowd?
He rode shotgun for Wells Fargo out in California. Never lost a dime or a passenger. And when it comes to pulling down a buffalo...
I think we ought to leave things alone. I do business with these men. Good business. So do you.
If I have to run a newspaper with their patronage, I'll close up. Well, I hope this Earp comes soon, Whitney. My name's Wyatt Earp. I'm looking for Sheriff Whitney.
Ain't here.
Hey, Mr. Earp!
Well, if it isn't Mr. Masterson. What's the matter? Don't you like the beds in the hotel?
You joshing? The judge gave me 10 days or $50. And I didn't even have 50 cents after
After what?
I lost my money in a poker game. You just can't beat a crooked game, Mr. Earp.
You got any objection to my paying Mr. Masterson's fine?
Mr. Masterson, why, that young rascal, he isn't
I
worth
said
it.
I'd like to pay his fine.
It's your money, mister.
Much obliged, Mr. Earp.
Don't mention it, Mr. Masterson.
Well, what are you doing in Ellsworth, Mr. Earp?
Well, I'm not right sure. Mr. Whitney sent word he wanted to see me.
It's Sheriff Whitney now.
That's what I hear. Who talked him into that?
Mayor Miller and the church people across the tracks. Somebody had to take it.
Mr. Whitney's a mite elderly for the job. From what I hear, this is a right bad town.
Bad? If you stay around here, you'll see the primest gunfights outside of Abilene. 4 men got killed last week, 3 the week before, in a poker game.
Well, speaking of poker, how much money did you lose?
$150, or thereabouts.
Professions?
Sure, but I'm no crybaby, Mr. Earp. Man's got to learn sometime.
Yeah, that's right. You think that game might still be running?
Guess so.
Where?
Shannon's bar.
Come on.
I thought you had to see Sheriff Whitney.
Oh, that can wait. You know, I got a great respect for poker. Honest poker, that is. You might say I'm real fond of it.
No, Mr. Earp. Cad Pierce and George Pashar run that game. They ride with the Thompsons. They're both mean and awful fast with their guns.
You want your money back, don't you?
How many, dealer?
Give me 2.
3. 2.
The 2 on the right.
3 queens.
Well, that's enough for me.
What's the matter? Don't you want to stay to get even?
Some other time.
You stay out of this. Mind if I sit in?
Table stakes, mister. It'll cost you 100.
Ante up, gentlemen. Hold it.
You didn't deal me the top card.
You sure you want to say that, Sonny?
I'll put it a little plainer. I think you deal a crooked game. Same goes for you. Don't try it. Now get out. Both of you. Go on, both of you.
Boy, you sure drew royal flush, Mr. Earp. It's all yours.
All I want's my 100 and 150 they took from you. Losers in the game divide the rest. Help yourself, gents.
Why'd you let him off? Why didn't you kill him?
No point in that.
Huh?
Well, they stole your money and I got it back. You lost 150?
No, not quite that much.
How much?
$31, all I had. The rest was bragging.
Well, now that took real courage to tell me that, Mr. Masterson. I'm proud you're my friend.
Yeah, but you should have killed him. They'll tell Ben Thompson and his brother Bill that you draw fast, but you don't shoot.
Well, when a man keeps on pulling his gun, you shoot. But if you get the drop on him and he quits, no.
Did you get that from the Bible or McGuffey's Reader?
I believe it's mentioned in both. I'm going to check these at the hotel for me.
You better keep them on, Mr. Earp.
I'm not looking for trouble.
Yes, sir.
Wyatt, my boy.
Mr. Whitney, I started right off to find you, but I kind of got sidetracked.
Yes, I know. Say, sit down and rest yourself a mite, will you? I got a lot to talk to you about.
It won't take too much persuading to sell me some cattle.
Cattle? No, that isn't what I had in my mind. Wyatt, I sent for you to take my job.
What? You sure do make it awful tough, Mr. Whitney. I owe you for a lot of favors. I just don't see me wearing a star.
Well, is that so outlandish? I knew your folks back in Illinois. A lot of lawyers in the Earp family. Your father was a judge.
That's right. But the Earps have done their share for the law. Anyway, the law out here means trouble. You get enough of that without going looking for it.
Well, if that's the way you really feel about it.
Yes, sir, it is. Sure don't like to turn you down, but all I want to do now is buy myself a little cattle spread and sit back and watch the steers grow fat.
Sounds good. But let me ask you something. Why did you go up against 2 of the best gunslingers in the Thompson outfit?
they cheated back?
I don't think that was the real reason.
No? What then?
A sense of rightness. It was born in you. Some men have it, some don't.
Oh, look, Mr. Whitney, I'm sorry, but I just don't want the job.
I can't say as I really blame you. One man hasn't much chance to civilize a hoodlum cow town. But if you won't do me the big favor, will you do me a little one?
Yes, sir.
Get out of Ellsworth real fast. After that gunplay you made... Uh-oh. Ben and Bill Thompson.
Is that the great Wyatt Earp, Whitney?
Now, don't get nervous, Ben. He isn't wearing his guns. Better check yours at the hotel, too.
Is this the fool kid you're trying to make sheriff? What are you trying to do, pull a joke on us, Whitney?
Joke's on me, Bill. He won't take my job.
Go ahead, take it, Sonny. Run us out of town with your bare hand.
I'm not looking to cause any trouble for Mr. Whitney. I'll let him run me out of town. That satisfy you?
Yeah. Don't satisfy me. You don't make small of us with your jokes.
You better cool off, Bill. You're drunk. Give me the gun.
Sure, I'll give it to you. I've been wanting to give it to you for a long time, you meddling old fool.
You drunken fool!
At least I got me a sheriff.
Come on, get out of town. I'll cover for you.
Let's get him in the store.
Now, he wasn't partial to being a marshal, but fate went and dealt him his hand. While outlaws were looting and killing and shooting, he knew that he must take a stand.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, long may his story be told.
Stay out of sight, Miller. We got this town treed.
He says he's going out there and arrest Ben Thompson, if he can find 2 guns that suit him.
Are you Wyatt Earp? Yes, sir. I'm Vic Miller, mayor. Sheriff Whitney was my best friend. He was mine, too. Did you come here without guns? No, sir. I checked them at the hotel. The Sears arrested on most of these.
I just heard about it.
Why the back door, Mr. Crawford?
Look, I need help, Mr. Mayor.
You could have shot Bill Thompson from behind a fence. You let him get away.
The thing to do is form a posse. Ben Thompson's the fastest hand with a Colt and...
Oh, let's see your gun. Give it to Mr. Earp. Now, the dog's filed off. Well, I know I can just let the hammer go. I tend to shoot too quick.
Maybe you ain't aiming to shoot at all.
I guess I'll have to use these.
I brought your guns, Mr. Earp.
You hurt?
Felt like I stopped a couple, but guess I didn't. I'm okay.
Needlessly reckless, Mr. Masterson. You could have come in by the alley like Marshal Crawford.
1 minute, Ben said, and he'll shoot up my store. If Earp fires just 1 shot, they'll burn the town.
It might be a good thing. Here, you better wear this. I won't need it. I think Mr. Whitney would have liked you to.
Hey, Miller! The great Wyatt Earp's got his guns now, so send him out here.
Don't walk into that shotgun, Mr. Earp. Shoot quick.
If he ain't out here in a minute, I'm coming in and get it. Did you hear that, Earp?
He didn't run.
He's fast, Ben. Get him now.
Ain't you kind of foolhardy, son, letting Miller pin a star on you and send you out here? You guys stay out of this, all of you. You've come far enough, Earp. What do you expect me to do?
Throw your shotgun on the road, put up your hands, and tell your friends to stay out of this play.
Stop and let me talk to you. What are you going to do with me?
Kill you or take you to jail?
The minute I give this gun up, someone will cut loose at me.
If they do, I'll give you back your gun and we'll shoot it out with it. As long as you're my prisoner, the man who gets you's got to get me.
You going after my brother?
I don't waste my time. Now throw down your gun, I'll make you fight. All right, the rest of you men move back. Go on, move! Come on, Ben. We'll go over to the calaboose.
I think I could have gotten you.
No, that isn't what you were thinking.
No?
No, you figured I might get you.
If you had, my men would have shot you down.
Yeah, but you'd be dead. Then who'd look after your brother, Bill?
What are you, a mind reader?
Nope. But I got brothers, too. I can understand how you'd try and save them from the rope if you could.
Well, I'll be.
I agree with the judge.
Well, I don't agree with you, Judge, and I won't.
Quiet, both of you. I'll handle this in my own way. Well, Ben, what's the charge this time?
I guess we better let the new man speak his piece. He's the one that arrested me.
All right, son.
His brother Bill killed Sheriff Whitney. Ben helped him get away. That makes him accessory to the murder.
Bill did this, not Ben. Why didn't you organize a posse and go after Bill?
That'd be kind of stupid, sir.
Oh, it would.
Yes, sir. You just put Ben in jail where he belongs, and Bill's bound to come back and try to spring him. When he does, I'll arrest him, and you can hang him.
Oh, now I ask you, Judge. Is that legal?
No, it'll lower the dignity of this court.
Your dignity. Mr. Earp arrested Thompson at the risk of his life.
Order. I know how you feel, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Beebe, what do you say about this?
Well, I think Ben ought to be fined for disturbing the peace, and that's all.
Well, Ben, you agree to take your crowd out of town right away?
Sure do.
All right. $25 fine, $3 costs.
Do I get my guns back, Judge?
Yep. Sheriff, what's your name? Return Mr. Thompson's guns to him. Court's adjourned.
Well, I didn't know you were in cahoots with the judge.
Don't put him on till you get out of town.
Of course not. Promised the judge, didn't I? Come on, we're riding.
Just a cheap hunk of tin. Mr. Whitney didn't die for much, did he?
I know how you feel, but I sure wish you'd give us another chance.
No, thanks.
Mr. Earp, we're going to get a new judge at the next election and some good officers to help keep order.
My job's hunting buffalo. I don't get quite $25 a head for them, but then again, I don't have to bury them. Good day, gentlemen.
I'll learn you not to call Ben Thompson, Yella.
I can handle him, Mr. Earp.
Get up again and I'll hurt you.
You're under arrest.
Who is it?
Marshal Crawford.
I thought you were still hiding.
You won't be so brave when Judge Osborne gets through with you. And then this fellow Earp knocked Pete Logan unconscious with the barrel of a .45.
That's a lie. He did it with his fist.
Order. That means you keep your mouth shut. Well, Mr. Earp, who's stupid now?
You are, sir.
That's just what I wanted to hear. I fine you $50 for felonious assault. And I sentence you to 30 days in jail for contempt of this court.
That's the law for you. Mr. Earp ran your friends out of town single-handed, so you got
Shut up! You get 15 days in jail.
For what?
Vagrancy. Lock him up.
So they call this justice. He started bragging that Ben Thompson had left several gunslingers in town to take care of you. So I asked him why Ben didn't stay himself. Now, is that vagrancy, Mr. Earp?
Nope.
Well, just what is vagrancy?
Well, if you're playing poker and you win, you're a sporting man. But if you lose, you're a vagrant.
So you're in jail for being honest, and I'm here for being poor. Now, what kind of law is that?
Just the Ellsworth brand. Oh, but it could have been a lot worse.
How?
Well, they could have caught you drawn to an inside straight.
What is it now, Miller? I'm in a hurry.
Just a little story I'm telegraphing to the Capitol. The governor might like it for his paper. I thought you might like to look it over.
No law west of Newton. No God west of Dodge. Well, that means Ellsworth. Are you aiming to get me in trouble with the governor? I don't think you've got the nerve.
Until today, I don't think I did have.
Shyster Judge. The law on Ellsworth is a farce. Why, that's libelous.
No, that's blackmail.
Well, what is it you want?
Wyatt Earp and young Masterson. What's wrong, Mr. Earp? Marshal Crawford and the judge sure left in an awful hurry by the back door.
I was scared of you.
The judge and the Thompson brothers can't afford to have us run it over them. Logan told Bat here that there was somebody gunning for me. And here it comes. Get away from me, both of you. Go on.
You in a hurry to leave town, Mr. Earp?
Nope.
Ben says we've had enough of you. So does Judge Osborne.
What do you think?
Get out. Will you drink up?
Get Ben to teach you to shoot with both hands. Come on, Bat, help me pick him up.
Yes, sir.
I guess I better wear that star before the judge can throw me in jail for disturbing the peace.
Primest gunfight I ever saw. Thompson caught his gun sight in the holster. Pierce heard his aim and got off a wild shot. But what happened to Bashar?
Well, he was left-handed. Go on, men, take him to jail.
Much as I hate losing good customers, Mr. Earp, it'll be a pleasure having you around.
Can you imagine that? The odds were 3-1 against you, Mr. Earp.
Well, let's forget about gunfighting odds, Mr. Masterson. But I've noticed that you give very little thought to the odds in poker. Now, do you realize that the odds against your drawing a straight flush are 65,000 to 1? And in drawing to one pair, the odds against your improving that hand are 360 to 1. Oh, it's a risky business, poker.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold.
Wyatt Earp, against his will, is Marshal of Ellsworth, Kansas. The year is 1874, and Ellsworth was one of the wild cow towns of the western frontier. Bill Thompson had killed Earp's close friend, Sheriff Whitney, and Earp had arrested Bill, who escaped. This pursuit of Bill Thompson was the key to Wyatt Earp's success in Ellsworth.
Wyatt, I put this ordinance through because you insisted. But it's a new and radical idea. Well, I'm a new and radical peace officer, eh? You've got along fine without trying to make them check their guns. You've calmed this town down. Look at it. It's like a village back east.
Well, don't fool yourself, Ed. Still Ellsworth, Kansas, just 2 jumps from the Chisholm Trail.
Well, I may be stupid, but I don't see what the no-gun law has to do with catching Bill Thompson.
Well, his brother Ben's bound to come back into town sometime or other.
Oh, you mean to decoy Bill by throwing Ben in jail?
That's right. But that's not the only reason for the no-gun rule. Packing guns in town is a tradition with the cowhands we got to break.
But it's an old tradition, Wyatt. They feel they have to go armed in self-defense.
Sure. But like all that old customs, it just isn't logical. If they're not wearing any guns, nobody's going to shoot at it. It's the code. Shooting at a man that isn't armed is like shooting a fellow in the back. Just isn't done, right?
Yes, but you can't change a cowhand. You'll see. Howdy, gentlemen.
Howdy. That mean a man can't pack a gun in this town?
That's right. I've set up check racks at the saloons, the hotel, and BB's store. We posted signs like this all over town. We're trying to keep you healthy.
They tell me you're pretty good, but you're not good enough to enforce that stupid law. Not in Ellsworth.
Easy now, mister.
I'll let him talk.
I've been carrying guns since I was a kid. Got to be a habit. And I aim to keep on carrying them.
Well, not in Ellsworth, mister. You and your friend start to the nearest check rack. Now. Make him move. Now drop your gun. Left hand. You know where the jail is? Start walking. Pick up your hat. Get the guns in. They wouldn't check their guns, Mike. So lock them up for 10 days.
Don't we get a trial?
Sure, if you insist. And you get 30 more days for resisting an officer. Still want a trial?
Mr. Earp, sir. This is Miss Abbie Crandall. She wants to... Miss Crandall, meet my friend, Marshal Wyatt Earp.
Well, that really does know you. How do you do, Mr. Earp?
I'm in good health, thank you, ma'am.
I came all the way in from the cattle camp just to meet you. My dad says I'm a born hero worshiper. Guess I am sort of cheeky about it. Would you mind just shaking hands?
Not at all.
Thank you. Very much. Well, now, Bat, I believe everything you told me about Mr. Earp. We already heard how he cut down the Thompson.
No, I didn't tell the half of it.
Well, now, hold on. All this gushy talk isn't needed. I'm not President Grant. Now, what favor can I do for you?
Favor?
Well, I would guess that one of your relatives was in trouble or something.
Oh, no, Mr. Earp.
Miss Crandall's dad runs a big cattle spread.
Is your father Tom Crandall, the Oklahoma Territory?
Mr. Earp is suspicious of me, but all great marshals have to be that way. You see, I've met Mr. Hickok of Wichita, and Mr. Bassett of Dodge City, Mr. Luke Short of Abilene.
She specializes in marshals.
And now I can brag that I met the great Wyatt Earp. Well, thanks for introducing us, Bat. Hope I meet you again real soon. You too, Bat.
Same here, Miss Crandall. You weren't too polite, Mr. Earp.
I wasn't intending to be.
Well, she's the nicest girl I ever met. No paint and powder and no swear words. I thought you'd like her.
Mr. Masterson, I wish you'd stick to poker. You wouldn't get hurt so bad.
Sir?
Didn't it ever occur to you that Miss Crandall may not be telling the whole truth?
No, what do you mean?
Well, she smiled with her mouth, but there wasn't any smile in her eyes. Didn't you notice that?
No.
And that story about her riding all the way into town just to shake my hand. Huh?
Well, you're famous, Mr. Earp.
No, that's just local notoriety, that's all. I'm not trying to say that she's going to lead you into a life of shame.
A life of shame with her? Why, Mr. Earp.
Why, Mr. Masterson. You know, I think the time has come for you and I to have a serious talk.
Excuse me, Wyatt. I just heard the new prisoners talking. They say Ben Thompson's in town.
Where?
The Red Dog Saloon.
I sure hope he's wearing his gun. So you stay here. Hello, Wyatt. Hello, Ben.
How's the marshaling business?
Quiet. Hope it stays that way.
Don't expect any trouble from me. I'm back in this poker game here. Care to sit in?
No, thanks. Not right now. You forgot something, didn't you?
Forgot what?
There's a sign. There's a check rack. Take 'em off. Now let's go see the judge.
Judge Osborne ain't gonna back you up in that gun-checking monkey business, and you know it.
Well, let's see what the judge says.
Well, all right. I think it's a fine state of affairs. A man can't sit down into an honest poker game without you coming around pestering him all the time. I got a big investment here.
I got a heavy investment, too, Ben.
In what?
This town. I got my whole hide put up for security.
Team, we asked Judge Miller to come in a minute? Yes, sir.
Hey,
Judge Miller?
where's Judge Osborne?
We don't have Judge Osborne anymore. He left town last night, Ben. For good.
The governor made him resign and appointed me.
Judge Miller, I found Ben and the Red Dog wearing his guns.
Did he try to resist you?
No, sir.
Very well. That'll be 10 days in jail, Mr. Thompson.
Just name the fine. I'll pay it.
The jail sentence is mandatory. Lock him up, Mike.
This is the second time you've tried this trick. You don't want me. You want my brother.
That's right.
You think Bill's fool enough to come walking into a trap like this? Twice now I've let you run it over me, Wyatt. Next time, I'm gonna gun you.
I'll keep that in mind, Ben. Put him in a clean cell.
Is he gonna work?
Ben wasn't play acting. He knows Bill's a fool. That's what made him so mad.
You think Bill will come in and try to break Ben out?
Sure. He'll come into town with his whole gang and aim to blast his way through.
Then we'd better swear in some special deputies.
Yeah, we sure had.
Here are the deputies.
Why do you know all these gentlemen?
Mr. Daly? Mr. Davidson? You, sir?
I'm Jim Richards, Marshal. I met you at Sheriff Whitney's funeral.
Oh, that's right. Well, now to explain this, I better tell you what I know about the Thompsons first. With the exception of Bill's escape last week, they've only pulled one other jail delivery. That was in Hayes, Kansas, March of '71. Now, Bill was in jail for robbing a stage. Ben and about 12 gunslingers rode up to the jail and started a big palaver with the sheriff. And under cover of this, 2 men, on foot, sneaked around back and blew a hole in the wall with dynamite. They yanked Bill out, put him on a horse, and the job was done.
But Wyatt, what makes you so sure they'll try the same thing here?
Ben's the brains of the outfit, and we got him locked up. Bill was too stupid to think up a plan of his own, and he admires Ben too much to even try. I don't want to seem too positive about this, Ed. You're the boss.
No, I think you figured it pretty close.
Well, then here's the layout the way I see it. We station men at these points. Here, here, and here. We let Bill make his fight talk right here. But we don't do any shooting until the dynamiters are spotted. And I hope we can drop them, and by that time...
Mr. Earp, can I see you a minute? It's Miss Abbie. She's outside. She told me something you should know, sir.
Gentlemen, you go ahead and pick your stations. Bat's got something that might be important.
All right, Richards, you take this station here. Daly, you're here.
Does it believe me now?
Sure it does, Miss Crandall.
Look, I only want to help you. Maybe I did sound a little too romantic about peace officers, but I recognized Ben Thompson when you were taking him to jail. I could identify him.
All right, now just let me get this straight. You think it was Ben that pulled that Wells Fargo job in Topeka? Huh?
She saw Ben and the others before they put on their masks.
Just give me one good look at him, Mr. Earp. Are you still afraid I'm trying to lead Bat into a life of shame?
Well, that was a joke. It shouldn't have been repeated. And I apologize.
Then we're friends? It's no use, Bat.
You rode shotgun for Wells Fargo, Mr. Earp. Don't you want to solve...
You said enough already, Mr. Masterson.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I frisk you?
What?
You're wearing pants, aren't you?
Mr. Earp.
You say you want a close look at Ben Thompson. Well, all visitors in there must be searched.
All right.
Nothing personal, man. All right, we'll go see Ben. Well?
Hey, what is this?
Life's full of questions, Ben.
Was he the one you... God, she just left. Well, did she identify him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there, that proves she's all right. And you insulted Miss Crandall by searching her.
Mr. Masterson.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't really have to search her, though.
Look, if you expect to be a peace officer someday, you're going to have to deal with suspicion.
What?
One of the oldest dodges a woman can use to gain confidence is to identify someone. You see, this puts her on the side of the law.
You still don't trust her.
Now, she may be everything she says. But on the other hand, she may have used that identification trick to find out exactly where Ben's cell is. To let him know by her appearance that Bill is on his way.
Miss Abbie, mixed up with the Thompsons?
Well, I may be doing her a great injustice.
Well, you sure are, Mr. Earp.
Well, in that case, I'll apologize. In writing. Well, we better be getting to our stations. If Bill's coming today, you'll want to work it before sundown.
Yes, sir. Mr. Earp, we're coming.
So quick? Are you sure?
Yes, sir. I saw them stop to get organized in the picnic grove.
Well, you better go tell Judge Miller. Wait. Remind him we don't want anybody killed to give us no information dead. Tell him not to hurt Bill's horses, huh?
Yes, sir.
Open that door and turn Ben loose!
No use, Bill. We got 2 men down. Deputy's got it from the roof. I'm going to take him in on myself. Get out of my way. I'm coming to get you out!
Pick up the guns.
Teague, get in there. Go on, Teague, bring the keys.
Bill, you stupid idiot.
Go on, get in. And take real good care of him, Ben.
No use trying to beat you. I vote we call it a night.
Well, that suits me.
What's your hunch? Do you think the Thompson crowd will come back?
No, not tonight.
Then I'll let the special deputies go home, all right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mike, will you check the cells again for me?
Right.
I suppose we'll have to hang Bill.
Yeah, I suppose.
What else but hanging?
You don't sound too enthusiastic, Wyatt.
I'm not. If I were the judge, I'd take Bill's mental condition into account. I saw his eyes when he killed Sheriff Whitney. I get another good look at him again today. We ought to think about it, Ed.
Well, we'll see. Good night.
Good night.
You know, you could have been killed taking Bill the way you did. Now you don't think he should be hanged.
Not if he's crazy, no.
But he murdered Sheriff Whitney.
Mr. Masterson, I hope Bill is sane and gets the rope. But if he's a lunatic, the law says you can't hang him.
The law says.
Oh, I thought you wanted to be an officer of the law.
Well, yes, sir, but I sure don't
Then
think...
you better learn it'll be your job to protect every man's life, even when you think he deserves to die.
By the way, what happened to Miss Crandall? Did she leave town?
She went back to camp before the fight. Why?
I wish I knew exactly what she was up to.
Look, Miss Crandall is absolutely on the level.
Women disillusion you.
She likes you, Mr. Earp. She says you're the best looking and most capable of all the marshals she's met.
She's met a lot of marshals.
That's what she said.
They're all sound asleep, Wyatt.
Good. You and Bat think you can stay awake?
Sure. We both slept from after supper and almost midnight.
Good. I'm going to run over to the hotel and get a little sleep. Now, no visitors. If anybody knocks, I don't care if it's a governor with a prisoner, you keep them outside, and one of you come on over to the hotel and get me.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Good night. Oh, Mr. Masterson, don't take what I said too seriously about women. I'm no expert. Come to think of it, no man is.
Let me in, quick.
Miss Abbie, what's wrong?
They're after me because I told on Ben. Mr. Earp here?
No, at the hotel.
Who's that?
Oh, it's Mr. Teague, the deputy.
What about both of you?
Miss Abbie, you with a gun?
Take his keys. You drop your gun belt with your left hand.
You must be loco. Trailing with the Thompsons.
Shut up. Now through that door, both of you. Go on.
Good girl.
Open up that door.
All right, you two inside.
You better tie him up and gag him.
Nah, strangling's quicker.
Ben?
Get over there! You outside, you idiot! Any more of that, and I'll leave you right here in the cell.
Why don't we?
I don't like you. You've done a good job. Now, where's the marshal?
He's at the hotel. The horses are right around the corner. We better get out of here fast.
No, we got business first.
What does he mean?
I promised to gun Wyatt, and that's just what I'm going to do.
Hey, Earp. Marshal Earp.
I just traded places with your friends, Wyatt, so get your guns and come down here and make your fight.
That's the way you want it, Ben.
Not in the back.
Let go and stay out of this.
Crazy fool. I told you this has got to be done in a fair fight.
He won't let you do it. You better get him out of here.
I'm going to kill Earp myself.
Now get on that horse. Go on. I got to get him out of here.
Well, go on then. I'll try and keep Earp here.
Thanks, honey. I'll see you later.
Bill wouldn't let Ben make a fair fight. Don't start for your guns. You're fast, but all I gotta do is pull a trigger.
I didn't quite guess it, did I?
Not quite.
So you're one of Ben's girls, huh?
I'm his girl. The only one.
Oh. Well, what about his wife in Wichita?
You're lying.
And there's Nita Dreves in Amarillo. Jean Prentice, who lives in Dodge.
I don't believe you.
Now, what about Alice Mabry? She lived right here in Ellsworth. She went to Denver and killed herself when Ben left her. Oh, Ben gets around living his kind of life. It comes in handy having a lovesick girl like you in every town in the circuit. No, I did guess you wrong. I thought you had brains. But to think that Ben Thompson cares for you is just plain stupid. For a young girl like you getting yourself mixed up with a dishonest gambler and a road agent. Don't you see what a fool you made of yourself, Miss Abbie?
Keep your sermon to yourself. I'll look out for me, you look out for you.
All right. Well, let's start walking.
Where?
To jail.
Women. I know them now.
Well, now, Mr. Masterson, that is a reckless statement. They're subjects that can occupy a man all of his life.
Yes, sir. What's going to happen to Miss Abbie?
Come here and I'll show you. You're welcome, Miss Abbie.
Hey, is Judge Miller turning her loose?
Mr. Masterson, when a woman is young, she's too young to know right from wrong. And if she's pretty, well, then there's no law of man that can touch her bonnet strings.
Yeah, but didn't you raise a holler, Mr. Earp?
No, I didn't. I got other things more important on my mind. There's an insane killer running loose, and this time when I arrest Bill Thompson, he's going to stay locked up. Hey, say, Ed, by the way, when's Miss Abbie's trial come up?
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about that, Wyatt. As a matter of fact,
You let her go, huh? Well, that was wise, Ed.
Just because she was a woman?
Well, that and the fact that, well, you see, actually, we don't have any facilities for women in this particular jail.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, exactly. No facilities.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told.
major problem for Wyatt Earp, now that he was marshal of the cattle-loading town of Ellsworth, Kansas, was the Thompson brothers. They were gun-slinging terrors of the frontier, and Brother Bill was wanted for the murder of a sheriff. Unless Wyatt Earp could rid Ellsworth of these killers, and alone, he faced complete loss of influence as a marshal.
Morning, Wyatt.
Good morning, Judge. Mr. Masterson. What's the matter? You look a little worried.
He sure is, Mr. Earp. A lot of Sheriff Whitney's friends want to organize a posse.
I don't want a posse.
They figure the Thompsons have had time to join their gang. They figure if you're going after them, you'll need help.
I don't like posses, Ed.
You can't go up against the Thompson outfit all by yourself, Mr. Earp.
A posse only raises dust. They're only as fast as the slowest horse. I don't think Bill and Ben will want to join up with their gang. My hunch is that they're hiding out in the bushwhacker section.
Bushwhacker? You mean where the Indians used to hide for ambush?
That's right.
How you ever going to find the Thompsons in there?
I think you might have something there, Wyatt. I can explain your theory to the men who sign up for posse work. Ought to satisfy them for a day or so.
Well, thanks, Ed. Well, do me another favor, will you?
Sure.
Well, I'm expecting 2 Indian friends of mine. They're about the best trackers I've ever met. And I'd like for you as the judge and mayor to meet them.
Indians?
That's right. Mr. Brother of the war chief Many Battles, and his partner, Mr. Cousin of the chief Yellowhand. Oh, and be sure to call him Mr. Brother and Mr. Cousins.
All right. What else do I do? Give them the key to the city?
No, Ed, just decent respect will be enough.
Sure, Wyatt. As soon as they hit town, I'll do the honors.
Thanks.
But Bat will tell you there's a lot of mean talk. It adds up to the feeling that you'd better arrest Bill Thompson quick, or a posse will do it for you.
I don't want a posse yet. I'll arrest Thompson myself.
I hope you do.
Aren't you putting too much faith in those Indians?
No, they're good men. So you and the judge think I ought to turn my job over to a posse before they take it away from me, huh?
Well, what if the Indians do find Ben and Bill? You can't go into that place all alone, Mr. Earp. You better take me with you.
You still want to be a marshal someday?
Yes, sir.
Well, then you better start learning what the job means. That's lonesome work, Mr. Masterson. You can't let a bunch of hot-headed citizens tell you what to do. Use your own head, get into your own brand of trouble, and think your own way out of it when you can't. But always be ready to shoot your way out. But you go it alone.
And a bushwhacker?
Well, now, that's just a section of country full of rocks and brush.
Good old bushwhacker. One of the nicest hideouts we ever found, I'll build.
We should have brought the boys with us.
Nah. Why don't you drink some water for a change?
Now, if Earp comes in here after us, you're gonna wish we had more guns.
Earp ain't gonna come in here. Even if he guesses which direction we headed, he ain't gonna come in here. He's got more sense. What if he did?
Hey, you hear anything?
If you'd stop drinking that whiskey, you wouldn't hear so many things.
Mr. Brother, Mr. Cousins, shut the door. Come in. Mr. Brother, you sit there. Mr. Cousins, you take that chair.
Giovannini, American.
Mr. Brother, crack joke?
He says, Mr. Earp, first time we treated like American.
You tell him it's a good joke. But it's a little sad, too. As I mentioned before, it's a good bet that the Thompsons are holed up in Bushwhacker. You and Mr. Brother know this country.
Bushwhacker? Yes. Good ambush. Got many good scalp there. Nagalim Bacaldo, Ihiaje, Bushwhacker.
Long knife, Waitgen, Big Kakachihi.
He says he guides soldiers to White Cap, Johnny Rep camp one time.
Bueno, long knife, Mogdagus.
He says, soldier loose fight.
I heard about that. I'll explain about these in a moment. Now, I want you to find Ben and Bill Thompson for me. I want you to move like dead men's ghosts. I don't want you to be heard or seen.
And you'll be very careful not to get hurt. The Thompsons are killers. They're very quick with their guns. Now, as to these loops of rope, I want you to take these with you.
You men wait here. I'll go talk to Marshal Earp.
Earp's just stalling, Ed. We want Bill Thompson. And a posse can bring him in.
There's a delegation outside.
I know, I see him.
They don't trust those Indian friends of yours. They want a posse, and they're pretty bad-tempered about it.
How's your temper, Ed?
Well, I think you're being unreasonable about this. It's no good just to say that you don't like posses and want to handle the whole thing by yourself. They knew Sheriff Whitney. They were fond of him.
I was fond of him, too. And I want Bill Thompson for his murder just as bad as they do.
I know that, Wyatt, but you're being high-handed and arbitrary.
This is my business, Ed, and you hired me to run it.
Well, at least go out there and explain your position.
All right. Well, Judge Miller tells me you gentlemen want to go after Bill Thompson.
We can't trust a couple of Indians. We want real action, Earp.
All right, Mr. Davitt. Then you can lead the posse. But before I deputize you, I think it's only fair to tell you what you'll be up against. Now, my Indian friends have already sent word that Ben and Bill Thompson was spotted yesterday going into the bushwhackers section.
Just the two of them, Wyatt?
That's right. But I want to remind you, men, that Ben Thompson is one of the best hands with a gun I know of. He's already killed 18 men in gunfights. Now, his brother Bill's not near as good, but he...
They don't scare us, Earp.
Well, they're enough to scare me. Have any of you men ever gone to that tangle of brush and rock before? Well, a whole Union outfit went in there a couple of years ago, as Judge Miller may recall. They were cut to pieces by a handful of Confederate soldiers. Now, how many men does your posse expect to lose, Mr. Davitt? Well, I'll give you an estimate. In my opinion, Ben and Bill Thompson shooting from ambush could kill about 10 of you.
But, Wyatt, if you lead the posse...
I won't do that. I don't believe in the idea, and I won't be responsible for good men being killed unnecessarily.
All right, you refuse to do your duty.
It's not my duty to lead inexperienced men like you into a massacre.
Well, we certainly got a long way with that, didn't we?
He could be right, you know.
He's lost his nerve. He's treating us like a passel of greenhorns.
Now, whoa here. I'm sure that
You stand up for Earp no matter what. Come on, man, we'll report back to the others at the meeting. Ellsworth may have a new marshal and a new mayor in about 3 days. Ben, wake up, Ben. Look it. It's Earp. He's found us.
Judge Miller wants you to come to the meeting right away. They're talking him down, Mr. Earp.
Oh?
It's nip and tuck. Sam Davitt's trying to get them to fire you and appoint him as leader of the posse if they're not found in 3 days. The judge says if you'd explain to the whole meeting what you're
I've explained it once. I'm not going to explain it again.
You don't care if they fire you?
Nothing much I can do about it, Mr. Masterson. I've said all I'm going to say.
Well, you can't just sit there and let things happen. They're calling you a coward. They say you owned up to being scared of the Thompsons.
Sit down, Mr. Masterson. You're seeing the worst of a peace officer's job. You sit still and wait. It's going to be dark before I hear from Mr. Brother and Mr. Cousin. In the meantime, I'm a coward, or I'm fired. At that town meeting, we'll just sit and talk.
It just isn't fair.
Well, what would you do? Lead a posse into an ambush, let a couple of them get their heads shot off?
Well, what else? What if the Indians do find Ben and Bill? It'll still take a posse to get them out. You can't go in there alone.
Yes, I can.
Here she is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that all you got to say? Do you give me more credit than that?
Well, you're the smart one of the family.
You'd be smart, too, if you didn't addle your brains with that whiskey. Took me a half a day to find this place. That means it'll take Earp 6 days, even if he knew it was here.
How about a swig of whiskey to celebrate? Huh, Ben?
That'll settle your nerves quicker than whiskey. I don't know why I string along with you.
All right, then. Go ahead and leave me.
I would. But you're my dear, crazy little brother. Now let's get inside. Still got some coal oil in it. Where are the matches?
In your pocket. Find them, you're so bright about finding things.
It's the first time we've ridden in here since the war, huh, Bill? What's the matter with you?
Look, Ben, look! It's Earp. I'm getting out of here.
Wait a minute.
Moccasin tracks. A couple of Indians. Earp must be hiring him.
But we can't stay here, Ben. They'll tell them just where we are.
That Earp. All the sneaky, underhanded tricks. He's trying to work on me.
On you? That's for me. And I ain't staying here and being cornered by Earp and his posse.
Bill! Use what few brains you got left.
Yeah. Maybe I'd better. Yeah, maybe you'll turn me into Earp.
Turn you in? Look, haven't I always kept the law off your neck? You're my brother, and I'm stuck with you.
Just the same, I'm getting out of here.
Bill! Earp's not coming in here after us.
But why ain't he coming after us?
Because I know him. I know how he thinks. The rope trick is just to scare me into turning you in.
Scare you? That's me he aims to hang.
And that wouldn't make any difference to me. Had to kill a lot of men getting you out of trouble. Besides, what would Mom think if I... That's enough. Oh, for gosh sakes, Bill. What's the matter now?
I've been having a bad dream. I saw Mom.
Why don't you go back to sleep?
No, Ben. Honest, I saw her. She came to warn me. I ain't lying. It ain't the whiskey. Mom don't trust Wyatt Earp. She told me he'll make a fool out of you if you trust him. And he'll put me on the gallows.
How did Mom look in the dream?
Just like in her coffin. She was wearing the white silk dress that you bought her just after we held up the Abilene stage. Please, Ben, I can't stand here no more. Let's go hide in the old still.
All right, we'll go.
Start now?
Yeah, get here. Give me that.
Bad news, Wyatt. The time is up.
The posse forms in the morning, Mr. Earp.
If you won't lead them, I'm ordered to. Won't you reconsider?
No. I know what they're doing, and they don't. Thanks for standing by me, Ed.
I'm very sorry, Wyatt. This town's losing a good marshal.
Hey, it's Mr. Cousin.
Let him in. Oh, Mr. Cousin, it's good to see you alive. Where's Mr. Brother?
He stay near still, Mr. Earp. Thompson's moving to still after dark.
Which still?
I make picture. Moon, here. River, here. Whitecap, north. Still, here. Johnny Reb make whiskey in it.
Yeah, Buzzard's Roost. The old Ku Klux Klan hangout. Good work, Mr. Cousins. Mr. Masterson, see that he gets a fresh horse and a good one.
Yes, sir, but what are you going to do?
Just get the horse. Thank you, Mr. Cousin. You can tell Mr. Brother that your debt to me is paid.
Thank you.
Those Indians must have owed you a lot.
No. I sent a telegram to the colonel at Fort Leavenworth vouching for them so they could sell the Army horses. It cost me $1.25.
You mean they tracked the Thompsons just for that?
No, Ed, I also call them Mister.
You're not going out now. It'll take over an hour to round up the posse.
Ed, I told you, no posse.
But the time is up.
I don't care whether it's up or not.
Wyatt, it's suicide to go in there alone.
Maybe.
Mr. Earp. Mr. Earp, please, let me go with you.
Not this time.
But if something happens, if you're hurt or...
Now, don't worry about that. I have friends who'll bring home the remains. But cheer up, Mr. Masterson. I don't think Ben Thompson will be any faster in the draw than usual.
Ben? What you got there?
Nothing.
That's Indian for the last message.
Well, let him come. I'll splatter him all over these hills.
Yeah, we'll both gun him.
I want him alone, the fair fight.
Oh, Ben, what's the sense in talking like that? We can pick him off with rifles.
Because he's mine, that's why. He's tormented me and hounded me like a wild dog. It's me he's trying to drive crazy. Well, he ain't gonna get away with it. A better man than he ever was. So you stay out of it, you hear?
That's fine, Ben, fine.
But I can't trust you.
Ben, I swear. What's that?
Well, that could be him. So you get on your horse, ride down to the river, and wait for me there.
No, Ben,
I've got a good mind to put an end to this whole thing.
Don't, Ben. I'll go.
Ben Thompson.
That you, Wyatt?
That's right. I want your brother.
Bill ain't here. You got a posse with you?
No. I came alone.
Well, that's just the way I want it. I'll be right out.
I don't want you. I want your brother.
You ain't gonna get either one of us.
Hold it! You're not very fast with your left, Ben. I don't want to have to kill you.
Bill got away.
Go sit on that rock. You get a cut artery. No sense in you bleeding to death.
I don't understand you, Wyatt.
Guess not.
You had a chance to kill me, and you didn't take it. Won't even let me bleed to death. Why?
I want Bill.
To hang him?
The law doesn't hang a crazy man.
People down in Ellsworth don't know that.
They're not the law. If you had any sense, you'd bring Bill in yourself. Sooner or later, he's bound to be killed. Maybe you'll go down with him.
Maybe I won't.
But then he'll turn hopelessly insane. A babbling lunatic on your hands.
You wouldn't do that.
Well, that's the deal I offer you, Ben. You bring Bill into Ellsworth, and I promise he'll be treated fairly.
I don't take your promise.
Wyatt.
All right. All right, you've made yourself a deal. I'll bring him in.
See you at the jail, Ben.
Wyatt, you didn't find the Thompsons?
Yeah, I found them.
Well, what happened? Did you...
No, I didn't have to. Ben's bringing Bill in.
You took his word?
Yes, I did. Ben's never lied to me yet.
Well, maybe the posse will get him.
Now, Mr. Masterson, you still want to be a peace officer?
Well, yes, sir, but...
But not a plain fool like me, huh?
I don't think you should have trusted Ben, Mr. Earp.
No? Well, take a look behind you.
Well, you're right prompt, Ben.
Would have been here sooner, but he got a little violent about the deal. Now, Bill, you're sick in the head, and this is the best thing for you. I give the marshal my word, and he give me his.
Put him in a clean cell, Mike. Make him real comfortable.
So long, Wyatt.
So long, Ben.
You were right all the time, Mr. Earp.
Sure. I could have been just as right and got killed. Or just as right and got fired. Yes, Mr. Masterson. I'm now a great marshal again. Well, that's the end of school for today.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told. Long may his story be told. Wyatt Earp, Wyatt Earp. be told.
Though the war ended in 1865, there were sections of the land where passions were still flaming in 74. And Wyatt Earp, as Marshal of Ellsworth, Kansas, finds himself embroiled with cowmen of strong views about that war.
Oh, Marshal Earp! Marshal Earp!
Here, wait a minute.
You stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
This has done to her. Hold it!
I'll shoot the next man that moves. You're all under arrest. The law says you gotta check your guns, and you all know that. Mike, take the guns and start into jail.
All right, everybody put their guns on the table here.
Move. Move!
Oh, I'm much obliged to you, Mr. Earp. 5 minutes more and they wouldn't have left me anything.
They'll have to pay for it, Mrs. Danaher.
You go out and help Mike take him to jail.
Yes, let's go.
A sherry, Mr. Larson. I know you don't drink, Marshal, but a bit of wine would calm my Irish temper.
What started all the trouble, man?
They're still fighting the war between the states. All those cowhands were Southern men. They wanted me to move General Lee from my parlor in here.
General Lee?
Oh, a picture of him.
They called her a traitor.
You better clean up.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't understand it, Mr. Earp. My dear departed husband was a Confederate veteran. He died last year, God rest him. Len wanted to forget the war. So do I.
Well, ma'am, folks aren't all that sensible.
But these men that drive the cattle up from the south, they still carry the stars and bars. Why is that?
Well, some of our Yankee politicians weren't good winners. They rubbed it in everywhere they knew how. Give a cowhand a pint of whiskey and, well, he starts remembering his grievances.
But am I the one to pay on that account, Mr. Earp?
No, ma'am. I'll collect the damages for you. Mr. Lyson?
Yes, sir?
How much do you think it'll cost to put this place back into order?
Oh, 2,000 or 3,000.
3,000, huh?
Oh, don't be asking a Swede. 1,500 is the Irish of it.
Mrs. Danaher, this is business.
1,500, Mr. Earp.
I'll see that you get it. I'll have a talk with Judge Miller.
Lord love you, Mr. Earp.
Good day, ma'am.
All right, men, stand up. Judge Miller.
Take your hats off.
You men are charged with drunkenness and malicious destruction of property. I suppose that's your idea of fun, wrecking a poor widow's only inheritance.
Now, just a minute, Judge. We got something to say here about this.
Order in the court. Marshal Earp, what's your recommendation here?
I think between them they ought to be fined $1,500. Stay in jail until they pay it.
Oh, sure. That's Yankee justice.
Order. The court finds you $1,500 pro rata. You'll be held in jail until payment. Deputy Teague, remove the prisoners.
All right, man, this way. Come on.
Marshal Earp. This is Marsh Murdoch, a newspaperman from Wichita. We've been friends for a long time.
Oh, Mr. Murdoch. Glad to know you, Mr. Earp. I came here on business.
Mighty important business for you, Wyatt. It's such an opportunity that I can't stand in your way. I'll see you later, Marsh. And I hope he turns you down.
I hope not, Ed. Miller seems to think you're going to be the best marshal in the West.
Well, Ed's my friend.
Your friend, but also a newspaper man. We learn to size up men pretty well. I'll come to the point. How would you like to be Marshal of Wichita?
Wichita? That's a mighty big job.
Too big?
Well, I don't know. Wichita ranks with Dodge City for size and trouble.
It'll be worse when the railhead moves in. Laying all my cards on the table.
How'd you happen to hear about me?
You're better known than your modesty allows you to think. But what really brought me here on the run was a chance remark in Ed's last letter.
Oh?
He said you know how to handle southern cowhands.
Well, I have had to make quite a study of them, but Mr. Murdoch, I always think better when I'm walking. Would you mind getting loose, son?
Not at all. Good idea. You know, getting along with Southerners is our big problem, Mr. Earp. Bill Hickok let some Texas men run it over him last week and had to quit. And with Sheriff Smith retired, we have to start all over.
Well, I heard that Hickok's a mite too quick on the trigger.
Wild Bill didn't have the intelligence to reason with cowhands. He shot him.
Well, they take a lot of patience. I can't say I'm any too well liked by him.
No northern peace officer is going to be liked. The best he can do is convince the Johnny Rebs that he means to be just and fair.
Well, that and understanding their pride.
Pride?
Yeah, it seems to me that's the key to it. Just about all the war left him was their pride.
That's true.
You've heard folks speak of it as a foolish pride, but, well, I've never held for that. See, I got two brothers that fought for the North. They tell me the Southerners have every right to be proud. They fought real well.
They sure did.
When I took this job here, I made up my mind I'd never shoot a cowhand if there was any other way out of it.
You mean there are other ways?
Well, I hit him with my fists a little, or buffalo him over the head with my gun barrel. It's a lot more effective than shooting him.
You take an awful risk, though.
Well, you buffalo a cowhand, and all he has is a headache. But if you shoot him, a lot of fellas can say to themselves it wasn't a fair fight, and then they lay for you.
Well, you're right. What happens if the cowhands decide to stay in jail? Who's going to pay for that work?
Well, then we'll all chip in. But I think they'll pay for it.
What makes you so sure?
Well, a cowhand hates to spend much time in jail. It hurts their pride.
But what happens if they can't raise the $1,500?
Well, then their bosses will pay for it. Hurts their pride, too.
Pride? I never thought of the cowhand problem in just that way. You're the man for the job in Wichita. We can pay you $250 a month. Nominally, you'll serve under the new Sheriff Todd. But you'll be in charge of law enforcement. Well, what do you say?
Well, that Masterson will want to come with me, but he's going to have to go to school. Ed Miller isn't too happy about my leaving.
No, but he realizes with the railhead moving on to Wichita, this town will change from a cowhand whoop-de-doo to a normal community.
Well,
You Wyatt Earp?
That's right.
Where's Judge Miller?
Who are you?
Rams is the name. Kirby Rams. You got some of my men in jail. We want to talk to you and the judge in private.
All right. First, you ride over to the jail and check your guns with my deputy.
I think not, sir. How's that for Yankee impudence?
There's nothing Yankee or impudent about it, Mr. Ramsey. It's a city ordinance.
Of all things, aren't you Captain Ramser?
Madam?
You wouldn't be remembering me? I'm Mary Donaher, Len's wife.
Oh, yes. Running this tavern, I believe.
I was, Captain. But a bunch of pesky cowhands just about put me out of business this morning.
Heard about that. Turned Yankee lover, didn't you?
Why, Captain, you and my husband were great friends. You were his captain. Well, you know I wouldn't... It's very welcome you are. You and your friend. I'd like down and...
Oh, thank you. Good day, madam.
Hold it.
I meant what I said about the guns.
All right. Find Judge Miller. We haven't any time to waste.
I'll be apologizing for the captain, Mr. Earp. He never used to be like that.
It's the captain that should apologize to you, man. Well, I gotta go find Ed Miller, see what this is all about. Excuse me.
There's a limit to our patience, Miller. This town has lived off us Southerners, lived well. And in return, you all hired this fellow Pierce Marshal. And you did it knowing that he hates all Southern men.
Quite to the contrary. Wyatt Earp is...
I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to tell you.
Oh?
We want those cowhands released. And no nonsense about $1,500 fine. The Danaher woman got just what she deserved for turning Yankee.
That's a stupid lie.
What did you say?
I called you a stupid liar. Now, Wyatt.
You made us check our guns. Now understand why.
Gentlemen. Don't call him a gentleman. He's a liar and a fool.
Why, you...
I'll tell the judge what you really want.
We want you fired. We'll give you just 6 hours to get out of town. You want to hear the rest of it?
I do not.
Well, you'll hear it anyway. If Earp here hasn't left Ellsworth by 5 o'clock this afternoon, we'll run him out. And if we have to do that, we'll burn this town to the ground. All of it.
You cross our city limits and there'll be a fight.
Get rid of Earp by 5 o'clock this afternoon.
The Civil War all over again. Oh, maybe not, Ed. Ramser wasn't bluffing.
No. But how many gunfighters can he raise? You know anything about the captain?
He's a hot-headed professional Southerner. He owns a big cattle spread in North Texas. He can hire plenty of gunfighters in the camps.
Well, shall I let him run me out of town?
This is serious, Wyatt. We'll need to arm at least 100 men. Get the women and children to safety.
Hold on, Ed. You may be overestimating the captain. Now, there must be another way to handle him. Is that the picture that caused all the trouble?
General Lee, God rest him.
Was he really better than President Grant?
Well, if he'd have had the same number of men and equal equipment, he'd elect us.
Why, Mr. Earp, you admit it.
It's just my personal opinion, ma'am. I'm not a military expert. But going way down to the line to Captain Ramser, what do you know about him, Mrs. Danaher?
Well, you can tell us, Mrs. Danaher.
Ramser's given me until 5 o'clock to leave town. If I don't, he says he's going to run me out and burn Ellsworth.
Joking you are.
Nope.
And it's all true. And a plague on that man. Him that was me own Len's captain and a great gentleman. He loves the South. It's more hate than love, Mr. Earp.
You think he's a fanatic?
Daft. Poor, wicked man. A great worshipper of General Lee. Yet he doesn't know the General was always praying that the North and South would live together like brothers, to forgive each other for what's past. I'll bet that Ramser doesn't even know the date of General Lee's birthday, or even his middle name.
Let's see. Robert Edward Lee, born January 19th, 1807. Have I got it right?
Go devil and come St. Patrick. You certainly have. Is there anything you don't know, Mr. Earp?
Well, Lee just happens to be one of my heroes. But I don't know much about Ramser. You think he was bluffing?
Was he cold sober when he threatened you?
Hmm.
Then he'll be after trying it, Mr. Earp. And don't take him lightly.
Well, what kind of a following could he have?
A few friends and a lot of money.
And there's hundreds of Southern men in the cattle camps right now.
Yeah. Mr. Masterson, I got a job for you.
Yes, sir?
I want you to take your horse and scout the camps. See if you can pick up a line on Ramser in a couple of hours.
Oh, but Mr. Earp, if they catch him spying, he might get hurt.
Don't worry, they won't catch me. Mr. Earp's learning me to be a marshal.
Teaching me. When we get you into school, they'll pound the difference into you. Now, there are 2 things I want to know quick. Is Ramser coming at 5 o'clock, and with how many men?
Yes, sir, I'll find out.
Mr. Earp, a strong sense of justice has bedeviled us Irish from the start. Why should you, who've refused to gun so many cowhands, be put among their enemy?
Well, it is kind of mixed up, isn't it?
Oh, it truly is. You being the kind of man you are, Ramser can't chase you out of town. And yet if you stay, there'll be a bloody battle. And that none of your making.
Well, maybe Ramser will change his mind.
Would you approve of my driving out to the camps? I'd have no influence on Ramser, but I do know a lot of cowhands.
Ma'am, it's good of you to offer, but no.
You'll hide behind no woman's skirt.
Well, I'm not wounded and down to my last cartridge yet.
Too bad. It was a silly whim of mine. Think nothing of it. I'll go count my liquor bottles.
Number 8, that's birdshot.
That's right. What's the idea, Wyatt? We ought to use buckshot or slugs. Well, I haven't heard from Bat. If Ramser was coming in for us, we'd have heard talk in the nearest camp.
So?
Well, either he's not coming at all, or he'll make some fanatical Johnny Reb move with just a few men.
Well, you haven't been wrong yet.
Of course, we could always meet Ramser with a posse, Ed.
I heard about that posse ride to Bushwhacker, Ed.
This time I could be right.
Yes, you could. But if Ramser's coming with a small army, we haven't got enough to fight. If he's only going to come with a few men, then we can discourage him with some birdshot.
I still say Ramser needs a double dose of buckshot.
What do you think, Mr. Murdoch?
I'm afraid I must agree with Mr. Earp. Killing Ramser might bring the whole Southern Army down on you.
Thank you. Oh, just one more thing, you all Yankees. Be careful not to hit the horses. I never did meet a horse yet that cared a whinny about the Mason-Dixon line.
I found this tacked onto the crossroads sign down at the corners.
Miller, tell Earp I'm giving him until 6 a.m. tomorrow to leave town. Kirby Ramser.
Just a bragging faker.
He talked too much for a real Johnny Reb. The real one's just come a-shooting.
I don't know. Might have taken him longer than he figured to get his crowd together. Well, Bat should have been back here by now. I don't like it.
You think Ramser might come in this morning?
Well, Bat can tell us that. If they haven't caught him.
Almost 5 hours of waiting. Afraid something happened to that boy.
What's going to happen at sunup? Hope he can handle these cowhands.
Well, we've armed about 50 men.
Earp can't ask you to risk a whole town for him.
He won't run. If he did that, it'd be no use to you in Wichita.
Or anywhere else as a law officer. I like Earp. Hate to see him lose his big chance in Wichita. Lose his reputation or his life. And through no fault of his own.
Why must you hurt so? Bat's a smart, handy lad. He'll take care of himself.
Mrs. Donaher, I sent him out there.
They say a woman's lot is hard. But a woman can weep and be no smaller for it. A woman can have fear and run, and it's expected of her. But you men, must you be held by courage till it's the death of you?
I'm going to go out and...
Oh, God, no, heavens, no.
Mr. Earp.
Mr. Masters.
You all right? A couple of Ramser's men caught me spying on him. I found out what you wanted to know, sir. Ramser's coming at sunup. He's hired all the top guns. We'll have to find him with every man we can get.
I'll get my medicines.
He's coming with Manor Clements, John Wesley Hardin, Curly Bill, Grjngo, and the Clairvoyants.
All right, just rest yourself. Don't talk anymore. Put your feet up. Ed, I want you to call off the fight.
You're leaving town?
Ramser wants me. It's my fight, not yours.
I know Clements and Hardin and the rest of them.
Are you planning to let them shoot you down?
No. Tomorrow's going to be General Lee's birthday. We're going to make it his birthday.
We are?
You think they'll respect that?
I don't know, but it's my only chance. Give me a break, Ed. Call off the fight and keep everybody out of it.
All right, Wyatt. Come along, Marsh. We'll pass the word.
Well, good luck to General Lee. And you.
Thank you.
I have some arnica and a towel and...
He's asleep. Go get me some hot water. Captain.
What is this?
You can read. It's the General's birthday.
I know that. But why would a blue-bellied Yank town in Kansas remember it?
Well, the General belongs to all of us, sir.
This is a trick. You're trying to hide behind General Lee. Talk us out of what we came here for.
No, Mr. Ramser, I decided to make my fight here. I thought that about 6 of you might like to pay your last respects to him.
What's holding us up?
Wyatt back there. It's the General's birthday.
Whose birthday?
Lee, Robert E. Lee. You men will show your respect. And you'll show your respect.
Well, I'm always willing to do that, Captain. But I don't think the General would want my regard for him to put me at a disadvantage.
Your regard is an insult, sir.
Well, I didn't choose his birthday to bring in a bunch of hired killers to gun one man and wreck a defenseless town.
I thought Master Robert was born in October.
What's that all about?
They ain't sure this is his birthday, Captain.
The idiots. They think I don't know the date. They'll respect his memory. In review, forward! Ho!
I'll move away from the General's picture. Now it's a fair fight, the way he'd want it.
To learn something about Wyatt Earp?
I think so. The Wichita job is yours, Wyatt, and on your terms.
Thank you, Mr. Murdoch. I can accept it now with a clear conscience. I don't think you'll have any more trouble, Ed. But if you want me to, I'll stay.
No, Wichita is too big an opportunity for you, Wyatt. I think you should accept it. $1,500 from Ramser to Mrs. Danaher.
Oh, thank you. I'll take it on over to her. I'll see you both later.
Right.
Is that straight now?
Good and straight, just like him.
Mr. Earp, sir.
Yes, Mr. Masterson.
How long do I have to stay in that school?
Till you learn the date of General Lee's birthday?
Well, I already know that. January...
19th, 1807.
That's it. Those ignorant Johnny Rebs.
Mr. Masterson, don't ever call them ignorant. No, they knew the main fact, that they loved General Lee. They were wise men.
God bless them all. You know we're going to miss you around here, Mr. Earp.
Thank you.
Won't you change your mind about Wichita and let me go with you?
Nope.
Why not?
Look, you want to be a marshal someday?
Sure.
Well, then you're going to have to go to school in Topeka. And the first date I want you to learn and always remember is General Lee's birthday.
January 19th. 1807.
That's right. Remembering dates comes in mighty handy sometimes.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.